Each spring, the world's largest stadium silently waits. Outside, a world exists. But inside her concrete walls and iron grandstands, hundreds of thousands of hungry race fans will once again be fed. The 79th running of the Indianapolis 500 is what draws them here. A testament to dedication, dreams, and speed.
Is underway. Oh, we've got a major crash against the outside wall. Michael Andretti is stuck right behind our line. He goes to the outside, down the back straightaway, tucks in front. Michael Andretti has the lead. The checkered flag is waving, and the youngest driver in the field at 24 years of age has won at Indianapolis.
Though Goodyear's run is spectacular, it's not fast enough, and Scott Brayton officially claims the pole. During happy hour, Hideshi Matsuda turns out 4 laps at almost 228, once again on Firestone. Bobby Rahal sticks the black and gold Miller machine in safely at over 227, a far cry from the past 2 years when Rahal struggled to even make the field.
Good job, Bob. Way to suck it up, babe.
Eliseo Salazar is in for Dick Simon, but his speed will be close. Buddy Lazier sticks a 3rd Menard car in the show. And Raul Boisel becomes the weekend's 25th and final qualifier. It's the 3rd and final attempt for the man they call Stay Cool Raul. With the pole run complete, Scott Brayton collects a $100,000 check from PPG Industries, along with a Chevrolet StarCraft van, each reminders of his pole-sitting effort. And painful walk back to the garage for defending champion Al Unser Jr. is only the beginning. Week 3 at Indianapolis is a time to prepare for race day. Only on Thursday, better known as Carburation Day, are the cars allowed on the track to practice. Though carburetors have long since disappeared from the cars, the name remains intact. And the highlight of every Carburation Day is the annual pit stop competition. In the closest finish in the history of the event, Jacques Villeneuve's crew ties Michael Andretti's crew, each posting the exact same times. In a tie-breaking runoff, Villeneuve's crew is victorious by just 104 thousandths of a second. For Villeneuve, shades of things to come on Sunday. The rest of the week, the track is closed, but the drivers make the most of it, planning their race day strategies and spending time with their fans in the annual Delco Electronics 500 Festival Parade, which winds its way through the streets of downtown Indianapolis. Race day is now less than 24 hours away. Despite more rain in the morning, the fastest starting field in the history of the 500 rolls off on time. 6 rookies and only 3 former winners help comprise the youngest group of drivers in modern speedway history. Pole sitter Scott Brayton represents the driver with the most Indy 500 starts with 13, while Lynn St. James is the year's oldest competitor, Jacques Villeneuve the youngest. The Chevrolet Corvette pace car leads the field to the green, and the anticipation level soars. For somebody, a month-long test of perseverance is about to pay off.
The pace car heading through 4, off 4, slides a bit as it heads toward the pit. Everybody else is set. We're ready for the start of the 79th running of the Indianapolis 500. Here's Bob Jenkins. Here they come. The green flag is out and the 79th Indianapolis 500 is underway. Oh, we've got a major crash against the outside wall in the short chute, and now a bleep fire breaks out.
The first lap accident knocked 6 cars out of the race. Stan Fox, who triggered the multiple car mishap, suffers the most. Fox's injuries send him to Methodist Hospital. The other drivers are all okay, but their cars are not. Gilles de Ferran guides his wounded missile around to the pits and parks it for the day. Lynn St. James, Carlos Guerrero, and Eddie Cheever are out. And Eric Bachelard will join them on the sidelines a few laps later. In the face of the disastrous beginning, Scott Goodyear leads the first lap. He will lead the first 9. It's the first time a driver on Firestone tires has led a lap at Indianapolis since Al Unser Sr. did so in 1972. The race goes green on lap 9 with Goodyear still out front.
The green flag waves, and now here we go. It's Goodyear leading, but he's getting a challenge into turn number 1.
The lead is short-lived as Arie Luyendyk assumes the top spot. It's the first time a Menard engine has ever led a lap at Indy. Lap 17 now, and Michael Andretti gets by Luyendyk.
Michael Andretti is stuck right behind Arie Luyendyk. He goes to the outside, down the back straightaway, tucks in front. Michael Andretti has the lead using traffic of Brian Herta, and Michael Andretti now going up by 15 car lengths on Arie Luyendyk.
Arie is suffering from a pop-off valve problem and is unable to generate his full allotment of boost. His teammate pole sitter Brayton is suffering from a similar problem. The 2 front row Menards are in trouble. Lap 29 and Luyendyk pits.
And he has killed the engine. Arie Luyendyk has killed the engine. They're going to have to pull him back. They're going for the starter.
Arie's 56-second stop drops him well off the pace. Andretti leads for 16 circuits before pitting on lap 32, putting Scott Goodyear atop the field. Leader Goodyear pits, and Jacques Villeneuve assumes the top spot for the first time.
As Arie Luyendyk came by, something came out of the cockpit of the car. It is laying right in the groove in number 1.
He loses a headrest in turn 1, bringing out the second yellow of the afternoon. Team Green doesn't realize they occupy the top spot. In the confusion, rather than line up behind a pace car, Villeneuve passes it on 2 straight laps.
No, I didn't know, and the team didn't know either, because we were going to run out of fuel, and that's what the team was concentrating on. Barry, Tony Sekeli, and Scott Graves, they were checking the fuel and going through different scenarios, and they were getting a little bit excited because we were going to run out of fuel, so they didn't notice we were in the lead.
The team is assessed a 2-lap penalty for the infraction. Almost out of fuel, Villeneuve pits on lap 40.
Car goes up, 4 tires coming off. Villeneuve motioning to his crew, and fuel is going in. 4 tires, it appears now are on. Looks like it's going to be a very good stop. He's off, and no, they're holding him. The fuel hose was connected. The fuel hose connected, and Villeneuve is not yet out. And he has killed the engine. So Jack Villeneuve killed the engine. They've got to restart it. He lights him up, and he is away.
If I had gone a few inches more, it would have ripped the hose apart, and it could have been a fire, and we couldn't have done any more pit stops after that, so it would have been awful.
The green flag flies again on lap 45, and for the second time today, Michael Andretti now runs first. He will do so for 28 laps. It looks like this will finally be the year that the Andretti luck changes at Indianapolis. Lap 50 and rookie Andre Rivero is running fourth. But the fastest rookie ever at the Speedway is a bit too fast. Rivero pits, but exceeds the 100-mile-an-hour speed limit in the pits and is issued a stop-and-go penalty as a result. Michael Andretti pits while leading on lap 66. But while the leaders pit, Jacques Villeneuve does not. Villeneuve makes up one of the laps he lost with his earlier penalty. 2 laps later, Mauricio Gugelmin assumes the lead for the first time today. Gugelmin leads the next 9 laps. But as Gugelmin slows to pit, Andretti goes high through turn 4 to go around. He tags the wall, damaging the suspension, abruptly ending his day.
I guess Mauricio was coming into the pits because he slowed down, and I had to run, and I went to the outside because I didn't want to hit him. And it's like ice, and hit the wall.
The race remains green, but 3 laps later, Scott Sharp is into the turn 4 wall as well. Sharp is struck by a tire, but is all right. The leader, Scott Goodyear, pits with the yellow, and Pac West Mauricio Gugelmin leads for the second time today. Lap 89 now, and Stefan Johansson tries valiantly to make it to the pits with a damaged tire. The effort fails, however, and Tony Bettenhausen's driver spins in the warm-up lane, bringing out the yellow. The track is green again on lap 96, and Gugelmin still leads. Mauricio will lead the next 35 laps and is looking like a good bet to capture the Indy title in only his second attempt. At the halfway point, Andre Rivero, despite the stop-and-go penalty, runs second. Scott Goodyear is third, and Robbie Gordon, after starting a lap behind the rest of the field at the start, has worked his way back up to 4th position. 10 drivers are still on the lead lap in one of the most competitive Indy 500s in years. With the yellow, Villeneuve pits without losing ground. 4 laps later, the track goes green, and for the 3rd time today, Mauricio Gugelmin is out in front.
And the green flag waves once again at Indianapolis, and the race is back on. There's Gugelmin.
Gugelmin will lead 59 laps today, the most of any driver. And by lap 132, 13 cars are still on the lead lap. On lap 136, the second Newman Haas car coasts silently in the backstretch. Paul Tracy has run strong all day, but is out with electrical problems, bringing out the 6th yellow flag of the afternoon. The leaders pit, and when the track goes green again on lap 141, it's Jimmy Vasser out in front, with Villeneuve now running second. It's the first time Vasser has ever led an Indianapolis 500-mile race. Vasser holds the top spot 16 laps, but pits, giving Jacques Villeneuve the lead. It's the second time today that Jacques has been on top. Never before have 2 different Canadian drivers led the same 500. Less than 50 laps to go now. Suddenly, a tremendous 3-way battle emerges among Jacques Villeneuve, Scott Pruitt, and Scott Goodyear.
We're watching something on the track right now. Jacques Villeneuve is leading, but Scott Pruitt is reeling him in on every lap. Jacques Villeneuve is coming into the pits, and turn 2. And we have got a car up along the wall out of turn 2 and coming to a stop along the back straightaway. And once again, debris all over the racetrack. A tire is rolled to the grass on the inside. Emergency crews there. The yellow light is out, and another caution out because of a wreck here in turn 2. The driver involved in the crash in turn number 2 is Davy Jones.
With the Jones crash, Scott Pruitt takes the lead, becoming the third driver to lead his first 500 today. Pruitt leads for just 3 laps before pitting. The crash also allows Jacques Villeneuve a badly needed pit stop. He stalls the car exiting the pits, but the stop is still quick, and one of only 5 Jacques will make on the afternoon. Lap 169, the race goes green, and Jimmy Vasser is on top for the second time today.
Jimmy Vasser still in the lead because of the pit stop. Scott Pruitt second. Then it is Scott Goodyear in third. Bobby Rahal fourth. Jacques Villeneuve in fifth. Raul Boiselle in sixth, and that's the way they run on the track.
The leader's clearly through 2, no problem, heading single file down the back straightaway to Larry Henry in turn 3.
Scott Pruitt touch and goes to the low side of Jimmy Vasser. He's got the lead. Scott Pruitt. Vasser has to back out. He's way high. He touches the wall. He hits the wall in 3. Vasser had nowhere to go, and Scott Pruitt went down low. We've got the yellow outfit. Scott Pruitt has the lead.
With the crash, Pruitt is back in front. But on the lap 176 restart, Scott Goodyear catches Pruitt for the lead.
And here we go. The green flag is waving, and we have a battle. Scott Goodyear moving to the inside of Pruitt. He gets him at the straightaway, turn 1. Scott Pruitt pulls to second. Goodyear moving out. Here comes Villeneuve with 1 car in between.
They head down to number 1 and Jerry Baker.
No change down here, Bob. It's still a really strong Scott Goodyear hanging on, and he and Pruitt have really put some distance between them, and Jacques Villeneuve into number 2.
It's a battle of a couple of great Scots heading through 2 and down the back straightaway. And again, Villeneuve, who charged well earlier in the day, has he got enough to catch the leaders?
22 laps to go now, and Goodyear's Honda engine turns the fastest lap of the race. Lap 182, and the lead is still only a 1/10 of a second. But trouble again awaits the front runners. 16 laps from the finish, Scott Pruitt is into the turn 2 wall.
And Scott Pruitt is spinning off of turn 2.
Scott Pruitt got high in turn 2 and kissed the wall and hit the outside wall, slid backwards, hit the inside retaining wall across the grass, and one of the leaders is out.
In 1992, Scott Goodyear finished second in the closest finish ever at the Brickyard. Now just 11 laps from the finish, the race is set to go green once again. Scott Goodyear sits behind the pace car, patiently waiting for his chance to lead the field down for the final restart and his spot in the history books. Entering turn number 3, Goodyear accelerates away from the field. His momentum continues into the 4th turn, where incredibly he rockets around the pace car, well ahead of the green light.
Out of turn 3, I could see the pace car was still on the track, and I knew that we had too much speed and we were going to overtake it. You know, Scott had stepped on it very early on the racetrack, way too early, and didn't give enough time for the pace car to go away.
Goodyear receives a stop-and-go penalty for the infraction, but refuses to come in. His number 24 Honda machine is black flagged, and on lap 196, Goodyear is no longer scored for his infractions. He will finish 14th.
Jacques Villeneuve has the lead of the Indianapolis 500 with 7 laps to go.
The series of events vaults Jacques Villeneuve back on top, with Christian Fittipaldi running a close second.
The white flag is waved. 1 to go for Jacques Villeneuve. He's on his final lap, Jerry. About 4 seconds is the lead time that he has. Can it hang together for another couple of miles? Oh, this is going to be a great finish for Jacques Villeneuve into the number 2 turn.
And Villeneuve smoothly through 2, well off the wall, keeping a fine line down the back straightaway. Larry Henry.
Jacques Villeneuve bringing it down the back straightaway. No traffic in front of him. Cleanly down to the white line. The crowd on their feet cheering Jacques Villeneuve. 1 more turn to go.
Jacques Villeneuve's crew, they won the pit stop competition, but this is even better. Through 4 smoothly. Jacques Villeneuve heads to the checkered flag, and here's Bob Jenkins.
The checkered flag is waving, and Jacques Villeneuve wins the 1995 Indianapolis 500. The youngest driver in the field at 24 years of age has won at Indianapolis.
the checkered flag and seeing it first is the best thing you can get in racing.
And Jacques Villeneuve, the young Canadian, comes through for Team Green.
Jacques Villeneuve's 2.5-second victory over second-place Christian Fittipaldi is the 6th closest one to finish in Speedway history. And his 15 leading laps are the fewest by a winner of a race that goes the distance since Mark Donohue led only 13 in 1972. The winning average race speed of 153.616 miles an hour is not the fastest 500 in history, but it doesn't seem to matter. With 23 lead changes, it's one of the most competitive 500s ever. And Jacques Villeneuve, the youngest driver in the race, becomes Canada's first ever 500 champion.
Feels great. I'm lucky to be with one of the greatest teams.
A great drive by the driver, just a brilliant job. I mean, the players' team performed so brilliantly in the pits. We were 2 laps down. They deducted 2 laps from us early in the race, and kid did a brilliant job. We asked him to drive hard in the middle there, and he drove hard. Then we asked him to conserve fuel. He conserved fuel, and just great. Just so proud of him.
Christian Fittipaldi's second-place finish is almost as astonishing as Villeneuve's win. The 24-year-old Fittipaldi started 27th and is named Rookie of the Year. For the second straight year, Bobby Rahal captures 3rd, while another rookie, Eliseo Salazar, finishes 4th. In another twist of Indy fate, Robbie Gordon finishes 5th for the 2nd year in a row. He would have challenged for the win, but a late race stop to check for a possible low tire hampers his effort. Mauricio Gugelmin ends up 6th, while Arie Luyendyk crosses the finish line just ahead of Villeneuve, earning him 7th place, and one of only 7 drivers to finish all 500 miles. The Menard engine has passed the test. For Scott Goodyear, there is pain. The pain of being so close now twice at Indianapolis, but not close enough. The following evening at the annual victory dinner, Scott Goodyear is gracious in defeat.
On a closing note, I'd like to congratulate Jacques Villeneuve and Team Green for doing an excellent job. I think that we got a big boost in the arm yesterday with the Canadians running up front, and I'm very proud of that because there's a lot of young up-and-coming Canadians that deserve a chance up there too. Thank you.
For the victor, Jacques Villeneuve, winning means a check of over $1.3 million and a place in the record books next to his father, the great Formula One hero, Gilles Villeneuve. The 79th Indianapolis 500 is a race that sees the crowning of a new champion. A young man from Canada who blew in the spring of 1995. Making for what was indeed a big north wind.